Charlie, thanks for joining on to a quick Zoom call today. You just posted on X about someone owing you $60,000. Tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, I posted on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Sometimes I take my time before calling somebody out publicly, but this seems like a pretty good time to do it quickly because I had spoke about this person in high regards, having played in his 235 pound tournament in the BPS, and did an interview. And somebody that I used to do business with, in poker business with, reached out to me and said, "Oh, it's a shame that I see you supporting this guy." And I was like, wait, why? And he told me a story about working in these app games with him and essentially depositing money. And then when he won money on these app games, he wanted withdraw the money, and the money was nowhere to be seen. And that is pretty huge. Like to take somebody's deposit and then just spend it somewhere else, or like you're meant to just hold on to a deposit. That's what a deposit is. It's an escrow essentially. So I then also saw a 2+2 post, and there's like it seems to be there's a myriad of other people that have experienced similar phenomena with this gentleman. I really like the guy. Unfortunately, people's actions don't always support the energy that they have. But because of all of these things, I thought it was good to act quickly due to the high percentage certainty that I had that he was doing these things, and the fact that he might end up doing it to somebody else who potentially can't afford to lose the money.
Okay, so the person in mention is Shaun Johnston of BPS. For those who aren't aware of BPS, what does that stand for? What is it?
I believe it's the British Poker Service. It's like a poker league. It's like you got Grosvenor and BPS is kind of the new kids on town. And like I said, I went to play their 235 pound tournament, and this is going to be good advertisement for them. But it was like such a good tournament, and it was like all recreational players. So I still really like the product. It's just a shame that the co-founder of it happens to be stealing money from people.
So where it says he owes you $60,000, is that just from sort of your winnings on the site?
So the club in question is one that I work with very directly, and the way that these things work is you have agents and then they have players underneath them. And so the agents will be dealing with the communication, they'll be dealing with the payments and things like that. And often how these things work is you give people credit, and these things kind of run off credit. So somebody says, "Okay, I'll take 50K. If I lose, I'll pay it next week or whatever." Everyone's kind of chill about it because reputations are king within this industry. And if somebody's reputation isn't there, you kind of get hard vouchers and things like this. And a hard vouch is very important to understand. It's if you hard vouch to somebody, that means that if they don't pay their debt, you owe that debt. And one of the most common things that you'll run into in the poker world, and I know some huge names in poker that have done this that I'm not ready to speak out against yet because it's not my story to tell just yet, at least, have done exactly that. They've hard vouched to somebody and then not paid when the other person doesn't pay, and it's very close to stealing in essence. It's very close to some. It's hard to define exactly what it is. So that's what happened here with Sean. He hard vouched like 4 times. I have made it very, very clear that it was his liability that if the other guy doesn't pay. And then some guy loses 60 grand on this game. It was one of the best games I've ever played in. And it didn't hurt as much because I personally won 50K in the game. So it's like I technically only lost 10 in this. But also technically also lost 60. Um, and then the excuses started coming. And I've seen this a million times. You've seen this a million times. Anyone that's been in poker or has had a friend owe them money, it's just like, oh, next week, oh, this happened, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. And my gut was just like, something's off here. Um, I don't know whether this player actually existed or whether it was just Sean on a different account using a VPN. There's like a lot of shady shenanigans going on at the moment that I hate to bore people with the details of. But the fact of the matter is that these app games, I think they're the future of poker in some way, but the reputation of them have been completely marred by people having way too high rake or not paying people back or agents scamming people. There's so many of these stories that haven't reached the public eye. So I kind of want to clear this up. And Jungle Man is somebody that I've been working with, not so much with the app game stuff, just in general. Like this, we both just have like 50 people that should probably go public, or that they have come to us with these stories, and we really want to just get poker a better reputation than it already has. Because it's things have got a little bit slimy behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, one of the things in terms of, especially in that online poker sphere, is that, I know you say that you think the app games are sort of the way forward, but there is that risk of playing on an unregulated site where this can happen. Um, what can these apps do to create greater trust in the player base? Like, what should people looking to play online poker? What should they look out for before signing up to a site?
Well, it's an unfortunate thing. Like the reason that I feel very drawn to these app games at the moment is because I've worked at PokerStars, I worked with GG, I worked with Coin Poker, I've worked with all of these different sites. I've worked with all of the big names, Party Poker. Um, I've seen things behind the scenes which I'm not ready to speak about yet because you need to have a certain level of certainty to be able to say very, very big things. Some sites better than others. Some sites really, really not okay when it comes to security, when it comes to bots, when it comes to RTA, when it comes to how much attention they actually pay to these things, and maybe have some foot in the door of being actively involved in allowing these things to happen. And so the reason that I think some of these app games can be really good is that they can be created by players. It can kind of be created by anybody, and it's in this kind of like semi-legal, it's still loopholed, so it is legal phenomenon, but it's unregulated, like you said, like some of the newer sites are as well in the game. So what I would say is that you just have to really do your due diligence. You'll get an agent approach you and be like, you can do this or you can do that, but make sure that person has a stellar reputation because really this whole industry is built on reputation. And there are some big unions, as they're called, like groups of clubs that call themselves a union in these app games, which have like, incredible reputations and have no incentive to steal from players because they're making so much money. And then there are other big names who have done it that have also got very stellar reputations, which I would also trust as well. So it's a really weird situation with these app games. I think they're going to grow and they're going to regulate themselves, and there'll undoubtedly be some crackdowns legally in certain ways, and people have to kind of like play around with certain aspects of it to make sure that everything is fully legal. But I do actually have significantly more trust for some of these games than I do for the bigger sites.
So going back to your tweet about Shaun, you mentioned that he said he'd work with you about paying you back. What has he said and how he's going to facilitate that?
Yeah, well, the reason that it's I was okay with giving him a hard voucher because he owns a huge poker company, and so I was like, there's no way he's gonna try and scam me for some amount of money. I didn't know I was gonna get as big as 60K. There was a lot happening at the time. He got more credit than I was comfortable giving. But still, like to scam somebody who's a big name in poker, like myself, I have a YouTube channel. I can post something on X and instantly, you reach out to me and people will see it. And it just seems so counterintuitive for somebody to do that. So whether he's going to pay me back through his company or whether he's going to pay me back through other means, which we'll talk about, I've delegated the responsibility of talking to him to some of my staff because as anybody that's dealt with somebody who owes you money, it's like the most draining thing in the world. So so I've blocked him and I'm just going to let my staff deal with these matters.
So, as you mentioned, like I said, you've got your platform on YouTube, and one series that you've been doing, which I've been really enjoying, is the "How good is a vlogger" or "How good is ex-vlogger at playing poker." How have you found sort of like that transition now into making content? Obviously, you do it with your school, but in terms of like sort of more sort of YouTube entertainment-based content, how are you finding that?
Yeah, in some ways I love it. In some ways, I resent it almost. Like, and I love to create. I love to laugh. I love to, do these things. When it comes to the technical side of things, I'm such a fucking fish. I had to hire somebody to come around and set this up, like it shouldn't be that hard, but for some reason my brain just doesn't fire on the right cylinders. And then there's you have to deal with being in the public eye, which I'm fine with now. It took me a long time to get to the point where I can say I'm completely fine with it, but that was pretty rough. But yeah, this series specifically has gone down so well, and it's been so non-controversial, which is really, really nice. And it seems to be a lot more fun, and people seem to be just enjoying poker, enjoying theory, enjoying kind of laughing along with these people. And the truth of the matter is we're just talking about a group of winners. And so being critical of, Mariano's not leading a turn or not knowing how to size a certain thing, it's like, well, he's winning, he's fine. He's not going to take it too hard that he doesn't know certain theory things. So yeah, this series has been a little bit more refreshing. Although I have stopped because I got 2 strikes on my videos from YouTube where they just started randomly striking poker videos. And if you get 4, your channel's gone. So I'll just like press the brake for a second, don't exactly know what's going on.
No, it's good. So obviously, I see you in the mix on your social medias all the time. Still grinding the online streets. What's in store for Charlie Carrel in 2025? Are we going to see you more in the live arena, or is it strictly sort of online for you for now?
I haven't really played poker in a few years. I've got my own things going on where I'm running my own games uh live as well, legally as well, which is kind of fun. You can do it without taking a fee, and it's just legal. Um, shall I say this? Give me a second. I'm running a game soon, which I'm very excited, where the people will come and the buy-in will be a £25,000 sit and go, and the winner's going to get a Lamborghini. I'm very excited about hosting this. It's coming up in February, and we're going to do a whole series of these things and getting bigger and bigger prizes. That's one thing, and then I'm a father. That's a pretty big thing. And then I got a charity, and then I got a business, then I got my YouTube channel, and then I've got other projects as well, which is it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm yeah loving life at the moment.
No, it's good to hear, and it's always a pleasure to see you around on the the tournament circuit when you do venture out to sort of an EPT or any other major event. But like I say, Charlie, I know you're really busy and you're strapped for time. Thank you for hopping onto the Zoom call so quickly. Um, yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, appreciate your journalistic integrity of reaching out so quickly and helping get the word out. And please, everybody out there, stay safe. Don't lend people money as much as you feel like you might want to help somebody out. It's almost never good to lend somebody money unless you know them inside out. And I mean like inside out, not just a close friend for a few years. I mean somebody that you've known since you were kin in the womb kind of thing.